Hello everyone and welcome in. It's another week of drama-filled spring sports here at ONIT, and we're going to bring it all to you. Before we start, please do hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It helps us out here on the channel and you don't miss any of our videos. We got plenty of fun content coming throughout the summer to keep you entertained while we all wait for sports to come back. And if you stick around to the end of today's episode, we'll let you know how you can get involved right here on our YouTube channel with some of your cards. With that all said, let's get started by taking a look at what's in the box.
What's in the box?
Our ONIT Spring Sports box this week features the locally sourced but nationally relevant headlines for all of our ONIT teams, as we are down to the final two in the Women's College World Series with Texas and Texas Tech in a rematch for the national championship. And we had 5 baseball teams advance to super regionals, so we'll take a look at all of those and the potential matchups that are looming there on the road to Omaha. We'll also tell you about the 2 best players from over the weekend as we take a look at who made the grade and earned our Gem Mint 10s here at ONIT. And that is where we will begin by taking a look at the best performers on the diamond. This is Making the Grade, where we tell you about the best players from over the weekend. We have one from baseball and one from softball as usual, and we'll kick things right off here on the baseball diamond in regionals. And our Gem Mint 10 this week here at ONIT is Armani Guzman from the West Virginia Mountaineers baseball team. West Virginia came out of the losers bracket in the Morgantown Regional. They were down to their final 3 outs and managed to come back on Sunday night against Kentucky to set up a winner-takes-all on Monday to advance to a super regional. And in that game, Armani Guzman came through in the biggest way for the Mountaineers on the biggest stage. His walk-off single in the bottom of the 10th inning gave the Mountaineers the victory in that second game, sent them to a super regional that they will be hosting in Morgantown, West Virginia. And because of that, Armani Guzman coming up clutch for West Virginia when they needed him most. He is our Gem Mint 10 this week on the baseball side, as West Virginia pulled off really the unthinkable, not only coming out of the losers bracket, but then coming back from down 3 runs in the top of the 9th on Sunday and walking it off in extras after blowing the lead on Monday. So Armani Guzman gets the nod for us. And on the softball diamond, Tegan Cavan, the pitcher from Texas, has to be our Gem Mint 10 this weekend. She hurled some perfection for Texas. No, she didn't throw a perfect game, but she was absolutely sublime for the Longhorns when they needed her most. Last year's most outstanding player in the Women's College World Series came in and got the final out in game number 1 against Tennessee to shut the door on the Lady Vols comeback and set up a decisive game 2 in the national semifinal. And in that game, she got the start and took the ball and threw a complete game 2-hitter while striking out 10 Tennessee batters to send Texas back to the championship series and potentially defend their title in a rematch against Texas Tech. So for that reason, Tegan Cavan being the most important player for Texas this weekend inside the circle, she is our Gem Mint 10 this week. It was a drama-filled weekend on the baseball diamond, and unfortunately for our ONIT teams, the results certainly did not go the way that we thought they would. We had a number of teams eliminated. 12 of them got the boot in regionals, and we only had 5 advance into the super regional round, and we'll take a look at those. Starting off in this super regional that will be hosted in Morgantown, West Virginia. West Virginia coming out as the 16 seed in the Morgantown regional. We talked about their valiant comeback efforts against Kentucky when we highlighted Armani Guzman. UCLA was supposed to be against West Virginia in this regional. UCLA eliminated from the tournament in shocking fashion. St. Mary's got the better of them twice in Los Angeles, and for that reason, the Bruins are out. The number 1 national seed eliminated for the 2nd straight year in a row after Vanderbilt was eliminated in 2025, and we saw much of the same in Atlanta. This was where we were expecting to potentially see a super regional matchup between Georgia Tech and Arkansas. Neither of them made it out of the regional round. Instead, Oklahoma upset Georgia Tech in back-to-back games on Sunday and Monday, and Kansas took care of business in Lawrence. They were the home team, and they rolled over Arkansas twice to eliminate the Razorbacks from this tournament. So we have Oklahoma and West Virginia both heading into the next round. Oklahoma will be on their way to Lawrence, Kansas, while West Virginia gets to stay home and host Cal Poly. In the next set of regionals, we didn't have a single team make it out. Florida State, Oklahoma State, Florida, and Virginia all eliminated throughout the Tallahassee, Tuscaloosa, Gainesville, and Hattiesburg regionals. Florida State and Florida both rather shocking. They were the hosts, both eliminated. St. John's took care of business in Tallahassee, and Troy beat Florida in back-to-back days on Sunday and Monday to come out of the losers bracket. One of 5 teams this year that made it out of the losers bracket. Really shocking stuff. So we did not have any of our ONIT teams make it out of those regionals. The same can be said about Chapel Hill and College Station. Tennessee was eliminated by going 0-2. I thought they were going to have a much better performance in the Chapel Hill regional, but instead it's North Carolina who won their own regional and will get to host USC because Texas A&M got beaten by the Trojans on Sunday and Monday. I mentioned that they were a threat. Texas A&M looked pretty good going into Sunday. They were the winners bracket team. They just needed to win one game, but they could not get that done against USC, and so we have 2 more ONIT teams eliminated right there. But thankfully, in the Austin regional and the Starkville regional, some of that ground was made up. Texas looked like one of the best teams in the country as they breezed their way through their regional, took care of UCSB, Holy Cross, and Tarleton State to set up a matchup against Oregon, who came out of the Eugene regional. So Austin and Eugene both went chalk, as did Starkville and Athens. Mississippi State, our other ONIT team, coming out of regionals here. They made it to the Athens Super Regional, where they will take on number 3 Georgia. SEC foes meeting up in this one. Of course, Georgia had the regular season and tournament crowns in the SEC. So the Bulldogs will be the favorites in that one, but we'll see what Mississippi State can do and potentially pull off an upset there in Athens to make it to Omaha. And then our last team that advanced was Auburn. They had a shocking game in the first round against Milwaukee. They got absolutely demolished by the Panthers, who came into that regional with a losing record, but Auburn righted the ship. They came out of the losers bracket and then beat Milwaukee twice in the championship series of the Auburn Regional to advance, and they will get to host Ole Miss in another SEC versus SEC Super Regional after Ole Miss came out of the Lincoln Regional by eliminating Arizona State. So those are our 5 ONIT teams that made it in. To recap, West Virginia will be hosting. Oklahoma's on the road to Lawrence. The Texas Longhorns will be hosting in Austin. Mississippi State is on the road in Athens, Georgia, and Auburn is hosting at home in Alabama. Those are the 5 teams that made it in. The only 5 ONIT teams that have a chance to make it to Omaha. So we'll see what happens there as they try to make the College World Series. And the Women's College World Series is wrapping up, and it's an ONIT versus ONIT final. It all comes down to this in Oklahoma City, and stop me if you've heard this one before, but it's Texas versus Texas Tech for the national championship. Yes, an absolute runback of the finals that we saw last year that provided so much drama over the course of the 3-game series. An opportunity for Nigeri Kennedy to get her first ever NCAA title after she was denied it last year, transferring to Texas Tech from Stanford to try to win a title. They've reloaded the team this year, and this Texas Tech offense is really good. Caitlin Terry and Kennedy in the circle both make a fearsome 1-2 punch with a righty and a lefty for Texas Tech. But we saw this story before. Last year, Texas, behind the arm of Tegan Cavan, the most outstanding player in last year's Women's College World Series, managed to get the better of Texas Tech, and can they do it again? The supporting cast is very similar. You got Reese Atwood, Ashton Maloney, Katie Stewart, all still there for a Texas team that just did this last year, beat Texas Tech in 3 games, and both of these teams came out of the losers bracket to get here, which is shocking to me. Texas went into a matchup against Tennessee. Carlin Pickens on the bump for the Lady Vols inside the circle there. One of the best pitchers in the country, the #1 overall pick in AUSL draft. And Texas didn't have any problems. They got past the Lady Vols in game #1, and then Tegan Cavan comes out and blanks them in game #2 with a complete game shutout, which was an almost identical story to what we saw between Alabama and Texas Tech. It was a very hard-fought, scrappy first game there in Oklahoma City. And then in the second game, late that night from Devon Park, we saw a blanking as Nigeria Kennedy threw a complete game shutout against Alabama to propel the Red Raiders into this championship series. So it'll be really entertaining. Two of our ONIT teams here, some of the best arms in the country, some of the best bats in the country. Lauren Allred, Mia Davis, Mia Williams, all on that offense for Texas Tech, all who have cards in our ONIT product, going up against Tegan Cavan, Reese Atwood, Katie Stewart. It will be very interesting to see who comes out on top of this one. It all starts tonight. The first game of the series. Whoever wins, of course, will have an advantage. But if last year's series is any indication, I think this one will go all the way until Friday. I think these two teams are going to split on Wednesday and Thursday and be back for a decisive Game 3 on Friday. And my pick, I'm taking the Longhorns to do it again. I think this team has what it takes. Tegan Cavan has proven time and time again that she has everything and more needed inside that circle for Texas when the odds are the longest. When her back is against the wall, she seems to get better and better each time she is put in an elimination or a high-stress scenario. So her calmness and composure that she brings to that Longhorn team, I think, will make the difference in this series, and I'm picking her to be the most outstanding player of the tournament yet again. So we'll see if my predictions come true, but it is going to be a banger of a series starting here tonight on June 3rd and running at least through tomorrow, June 4th, and potentially, if we go to that third game, June 5th. So make sure you're dialed in for that one. It is the end of our softball season, so this is the last opportunity you have to watch some of our ONIT teams in action, and I would definitely recommend it because these are two of the best. So that's all the time we have in today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Leave us your predictions down in the comments below. Who do you think is going to win the Women's College World Series? And what are the 8 teams you predict are going to end up in Omaha? We'd love to hear from you. And we'd love to see your cards. If you're pulling any heat out of our ONIT products lately, whether it's basketball, baseball, softball, football, gymnastics, any of your best pulls, your best autographs, your short print inserts or low numbered hits, you can submit them to us using the link onitathlete.com/highlights. It's right there down below for you, or you can find it in the description of this video and upload your hits to us. We'll share them right here on the channel like we have done in the past. So if you want to be involved right here on our YouTube channel, that's the easiest way to do it. Or, as I said, you can drop us a comment about who you think is going to advance out of Super Regionals or win this year's Softball College World Series. So, thank you again for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. We will be back with more coverage from baseball and softball. Be on the lookout here on the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything, and you can ring that bell to get notified every time we post a video. So we will see you all next week. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and happy ripping, everyone.